NASCAR driver Kevin Harvick. He's with Busch Beer, who's sending 500 fans to drink Busch all day long at the 2018 Daytona 500.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, can't be bad, right?
And Kevin is a big season ticket holder of the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, it's been fun over the last 2 seasons. We moved to Charlotte about 4 years ago, and it's much like your football team in your town. It's hard not to become excited about what's going on during football season with the local team. So it's been great, and we've enjoyed it.
Now, were you there Thursday night, Eagles Panthers?
We were there.
What you think of the team in the Super Bowl?
Here's what I think. I was really surprised on Carson and just how it all flowed for him and how well he actually played. And then as a Panthers fan, I was like, when he went down, I was like, okay, being in the NFC, I think that you want to go through Philadelphia, but I think it really proved how good your team actually was. You got a great team, but that night he played well.
Yeah, and that night, I think for Eagles fans, Scott, were you at the game?
I was at that game, yeah.
That was the couple crazy interceptions.
Mills with the pick at the end of that game.
Yeah.
I think that night, too, for Eagles fans, it was kind of like,
this
Carolina team's pretty good.
Well, quite frankly, that was one of those games where I think Eagle fans kind of said, maybe this team is a little for real.
Yeah. Well,
and it sounds like you left there maybe feeling that way, too.
I felt that way. I felt like, they had a couple bounces that a couple interceptions that kind of bounced their way, but in the end, they were really good, and I was most impressed with your quarterback. But on the flip side of that, when you look at it now, you realize how good the whole team is, and that's what it takes. Is you got to have the whole deal.
Yeah, the defense. That night, as we mentioned, the Mills interception. They played really well all year long. But you being a season ticket holder, are you concerned at all about the future of I'm sure you've been asked that a lot, but it's a huge NFL topic this time of the year. I think there's a lot of concern.
It's an interesting time because the team is so entrenched into the city, and there's so many things that happen around the team. So you hope that the new owners don't want to come in and unplug the team.
Are you putting a group together to buy the team?
No, I'm not. I wish I had that much money. That's a different league of money. But it would be a shame to see the Panthers not in Charlotte because of how big of a part they are. And when you look at the players, when you look at Greg Olsen and Luke Kuechly and Cam Newton and all those guys, that they participate in the community constantly, whether it's football season or not, they're always out and about in the city.
Tell us a little about this event, because the NASCAR Daytona 500, that's your Super Bowl, is coming up right around the corner here. So you're here, but I'm sure you've got to get ready. The fans are getting ready for the biggest race in your event, in your sport. Yeah,
the fans are spoiled. They get the Super Bowl this weekend, and then 2 weeks later they get the Daytona 500, the Super Bowl of NASCAR. But yeah, it's fun to be able to come here and have a sponsor like Busch Beer, who's obviously from an AB standpoint very involved in the NFL, and Busch tagging along to promote the 500 fans in the contest that they have run through the last couple months to bring the 500 fans to the Daytona 500. So they're going to fly them all down, feed them all weekend, feed them free beer, and bring them to our greatest race.
He's the 2014 NASCAR Cup Series champion. We send a listener to the Monster Mile every year. We do it twice a year, actually. They had the 2 races. We send them there, and we are from where Truex is from, so he's kind of a big in an area that doesn't there's not a lot of NASCAR in South Jersey there. So he has really exploded the sport. For being in South Jersey, that was not a sport we heard a whole heck of a lot about.
Yeah, and that's fun, and that's good for our sport. And when you see a guy like Martin, who's a great guy.
And he kind of came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, I tell you, Martin's just been unfortunate to be in a lot of bad spots. He's been with 2 teams that shut down kind of right when they started to get things going. He wound up at Michael Waltrip Racing and kind of treading water there to figure out what he was going to do, and wound up at Furniture Row. And they put a great crew chief in place and he and Martin clicked. They got the alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing, and they've just really performed well over the last 3 seasons. So it's fun to see good guys win, and Martin's one of those good guys.
All right, go to Busch.com, and there's many ways you can win. They're sending 500 fans to Daytona's biggest race, the Daytona 500. 250 winners plus 1 lucky friend for each will win this trip to the 60th running of the Great Race. When I was in school, I didn't know anything about NASCAR, okay? I get there, and my roommate, we have a glass table, and he's got 2 Dale Earnhardt senior tires holding up our table in the living room. I said, what what have I got myself into here? But I started, watching a little bit with them. I was always a Stewart guy.
Yeah, well,
the bad boy.
Tony Stewart's my team owner, so
right.
that's a good thing. And as we've gone through the years, Tony and I had become great friends, and now I get to race for him. I came to race with him.
Yeah.
And then he retired on me, but that's okay. He's still around.
I got to ask you, a lot of people think some of these football players are crazy, right? Going at these high-speed collisions and all that stuff.
No,
but then some
guys.
people say, hey, you're going around a track at 200 miles an hour with maybe
here.
inches between your cars. How do you get the mindset to do that?
Yeah, well, I feel safer on the racetrack than I do on the road. Everything in that car is built for me. My seat is a mold of foam that is poured around my body. My helmet's custom fit to my head. NASCAR's done a great job with the safety side of things, but it's kind of what I've done my whole life, and I've been fortunate to watch the progression of the safety and everything change, and just go get in it and go.
Kevin Harvick on Instagram or Twitter, post a video or photo with the hashtag #Bush2Daytona to enter.
That's right.
Great to meet you.
I appreciate you guys.
My
Good
old
luck,
producer,
Good luck
by
to
the
you
way.
guys.
My old producer who used to produce the show, he left me to produce on the SiriusXM NASCAR channel.
Wow.
So he left me. So he was all excited that you're going to be a part of the show today. He's texting me, you're going to have Kevin Harvick on. I said, yeah, why not?
Well, I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Enjoy yourself
Don't
this
work
week.
too hard.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's a challenge.
I know you're doing
I'm going
hey,
home.
Oh, this was your last I heard. You're out of here.
I'm going
We don't
back
hold
to
it.
Charlotte.
Hey, enjoy the cold weather.
Thank you.
What do we got on the phone here? 0 degrees when I woke up this morning. Kevin Harvick, everybody. Thank you. Here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN.